Jill Rutter from UK in a changing Europe. Morning to you, and it's a wonderful place to be actually.
It's
you
amazing.
Really
it's
get
amazing.
a sense of history here, don't you? Looking at this election, and I know you've studied many elections before, is it different?
It seems quite different. I mean, back in 2017, that was a sort of Brexit election. This is another potentially Brexit election. That's one of the interesting questions. Is Theresa May obviously wanted to fight 2017 on the platform of give me a mandate and I can get Brexit done. That's actually exactly the same pitch that Boris Johnson is making now. But we saw then that what she wanted to be a Brexit election got completely derailed, and we ended up talking about health and social care all the time after she launched her manifesto. So you can't really plan these things in advance. But clearly this is a big choice for people to make. I mean, there are very different propositions on offer from Boris Johnson and the Conservatives and from Labour, from the Liberal Democrats. So people do really have a choice to make.
And this is one of the constituencies that we understand Brexit Party are going to stand. So how is that going to affect things? I mean, here and in the wider sense as well, do you think?
It's quite interesting. I mean, you know, this is one of those things where actually we might see a bit of pressure in the next 2 or 3 days on the Brexit Party to say this is the sort of seat that the Conservatives want to win if they're going to get that majority Boris wants to get his deal through. If that happens, it'll be made easier for the Conservatives, they assume, if the Brexit Party stands down. So they might be putting a lot of pressure on the Brexit Party to say, do you really want to stand? Is it enough just to withdraw in the seats that the Conservatives already hold? Because that obviously doesn't help get a majority. So we'll see that.
And that's on the front page of some of the newspapers this morning. Other conversations have been obviously being had between the Lib Dems, the Greens and Plaid Cymru as well about, perhaps standing back to let one candidate go forward.
Yes, well, that was what was quite interesting, I think, about the sort of a Remain alliance that was announced last week, was that the big party that wasn't part of that Remain deal, if you like, was Labour. And clearly the first place party here, but this is a Conservative Labour contest. The Liberal Democrats don't have very many, quite low percentage here, so they're not competitive. So it's really interesting whether there then becomes tactical voting for Liberal Democrats who prefer the Labour offer on Brexit to the Conservative offer, whether they will switch their votes.
I mean, it is absolutely fascinating. And the sense that I seem to get from people is there's a real sense of churn and change and people genuinely considering voting for parties that they have never voted for before. I just want a quick out to the panel. Are some of you still, there's 4 weeks to go, are you still undecided, some of you? Yes. How many? Hands up? Hands up? Right, okay, so people still undecided, so there is all to play for, isn't there?
Yes, I mean, what we've seen is a real weakening of party allegiances, because actually a lot of people now identify much more with this Leave-Remain divide that the referendum created than with their traditional, I vote Conservative because actually I've always voted Conservative, or I vote Labour because my parents voted Labour, we're a Labour family, we always vote Labour. So those traditional allegiances are much, much weaker. We've obviously got competition in the form of the Brexit Party. Party only launched at the start of the year. You could say it's a sort of UKIP follow-on. Liberal Democrats having sort of gone down very badly in 2015 after the coalition, now coming back. So we do in some places, we have real sort of four-way races, which makes everything in a first-past-the-post system really interesting, because you don't need that many votes to win the constituency.